Having you with us on the power circuit is always pleasing. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, brings this program to you so you can always be apprised of happenings in the power sector. I am Amara Agugoesi. Here we go with the headlines. Minister of Power says government delivering on infrastructure as Jeba gets 63 MVA mobile substation. CSOs tour TCN facilities and projects in FCT. Rates company high on assets delivery. Officials of power utility firms from Benin Republic and Transcorp Power visit TCN. Let's get on with the reports. The Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, says the federal government of Nigeria is delivering more power infrastructure. This disclosure comes on the heels of the commissioning of a 63 MVA mobile transmission substation in Jeba, Niger State. Let's have the story.
Speaking at the Corporate Council on Africa session at the just concluded U.S.-Africa Business Summit 2024 in Dallas, United States, the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, who represented President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the event, said the federal government is keen on delivering more power transmission infrastructure. Riding on the heels of this is the commissioning of a 60 MVA 132 33 kV mobile substation at the Jeba transmission substation in Kwara State. The project was delivered under the Presidential Power Initiative being spearheaded by FGM Power Company as a significant step towards enhancing the region's electricity infrastructure. Energizing the substation this month marks a milestone in improving electricity assets for Jeba and its surroundings. With an additional 50.4 megawatts capacity, the mobile substation promises a notable boost in transmission wheeling capacity. The new facility is being operated by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, under its Shiroro region, with more bulk power available at the Jeba substation for dispatch at the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company (IBEDC) to distribute to its customers in parts of Niger and Kwara State. Earlier this month, the Minister of Power, along with the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, and the Managing Director of the FGM Power Company, Kenny Anuwe, commissioned a similar facility at the Ajah substation in Lagos and a 60 MVA 132 33 kV power transformer at the TCN Birnin Kebbi substation in Kebbi State.
A coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria have taken a tour of the facilities and ongoing projects of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, within the Federal Capital Territory, while rating the company high on performance. The Power Circuit was there and brings to you the reports.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, who was represented by the General Manager, Program Coordination and Technical Assistant to the MD, Engineer Mohammed Tahir, said the company took the visit as a high priority activity.
We really welcome you and appreciate your patience, and we hope this is the first meeting, but it's not going to be the last one. This should be something that is continuous. We should engage ourselves every time. TCN is open to discussions and clarifications on any issue. Anytime you have any issue, our doors are always open. You will always be welcome. If there is anything you need clarification, we will be here to give the clarification.
He further noted that TCN was engaging with the CSOs for up to 3 days and will take them to visit some power transmission infrastructure in the Federal Capital Territory.
And I know as the discussion goes on today, there are, I think we have about almost, is it 3 days engagement?
Yeah.
So with different activities in the 3 days. So you are free to engage TCN with anything. We will be there to provide any information you want So we really welcome you to this important occasion.
The General Manager Public Affairs at TCN, Ndidimba, noted the imperatives of collaborations as she delivered a presentation on the structure and role of TCN in the power sector value chain.
We're striving to develop the grid to such that it can be comparable to other grids world over. Yes, we're not there yet. There's a lot of challenges, but we are taking it in our stride and we're doing all that we can, all that is possible to grow the grid. TCN is one of the 18 companies that was unbundled from the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, incorporated in 2005. And TCN is regulated by NERC, just like every other player in the power sector value chain. TCN's role is really to design and construct a transmission network. So if you look at all the high tension cables, all the very high towers, not the distribution poles and distribution towers, no, those very high ones and the cables, that is what concerns TCN. You know, what we do is we design, we construct the transmission network, and then of course we maintain it, we expand it, and all the like. So TCN also works to expand and upgrade and open access to all users. When there's a new user or new person that wants to enter the system, even if it's a generation and all that, they would always, TCN will always have an input, because eventually TCN has to be sure that it has the high tension transmission lines and towers to be able to evacuate such ventures. So TCN therefore is responsible for planning and executing high tension transmission towers and lines, and what it does basically is to do bulk evacuation of power from generation companies to distribution load centers. We don't distribute to we don't sell to customers nationwide. No, we don't do that. What we do is we take the bulk generation from the generation companies and we transport it to distribution load centers.
The TCN spokesperson further highlighted the company's milestone records, including the delivery of more power transmission substations, transformers and spare parts, as well as critical actions to improve system stability.
The contract has been given for SCADA to be in full-scale SCADA on transmission lines to be implemented. Once that is done, it becomes very, very easy to, it becomes much more easier. Let me not say very, very easy, because, you know, life is about new changes, you know. Life, you can't really say this is it, you know. But with the SCADA, well, by the time we fully implement the SCADA, grid collapse will be virtually a thing of the past. It will be very difficult. Okay, like I've spoken about this before, digital transformation of TCN, our own in-house efforts to use technology to see what we can do to upgrade the system to help the efficiency and effectiveness of the system. We have, with the IoT, Internet of Things, we now have more visibility of the grid. I think it's gone from, 6 to 27, if I'm not mistaken, 27 or 29, okay, substations that we can now see very clearly.
There was an interactive session where members of the CSOs made inquiries on the specific role of power sector operators, and the TCN officials responded to them. The coalition of the CSOs then began a tour of the TCN facilities, starting with the 132 33 kV Dawaki gas insulated substation, where they were addressed by the Assistant General Manager, AFD Project Implementation Unit at TCN, Engineer Zuara Abba.
I would like to use this medium to welcome the civil society groups to this wonderful substation of Dawaki, the gas-insulated substation 2x60 MVA 13233 kV substation. And with me is my team, the PIU engineers. We have the project consultant as well here, Dr. Tony from Oscar Joe and Partners. And then the contractor, even though this project has already been handed over 2 months ago to TCN finally. So I would like to welcome you, and it would be good we now go in and have a look around this substation. You take a look at the GIS control room and then the substation switchyard. You know, everything about engineering is solution providing. We had to make way of breaking this line. This line is from Shiroro that goes to Katampe. So this line was broken, and then we now had this gas insulated substation within the right of way of TCN, because if you know this side, outside is our own right of way. So we had to make that provision. That is what informed this gas insulated substation. So this line is from Shiroro. And then, so here when we say break, we had to now break it, then we went underground. If you look at the back here, so we have underground cable that continued it, and then took again from that tower back to Katampe where it was. So I think we can go in.
At the Womba 132 33 kV substation, the visiting members of the civil society organizations also explored the potentials of the substation. Speaking on behalf of the visiting coalition of CSOs, Ambassador Mike Ngbe from the Civil Society Groups for Good Governance expressed their satisfaction with the tour.
So far we have been on the tour of the TCN facilities, the substation so far. We visited the Dawaki substation first, where we had the GIS, that's gas insulated substation. And personally I was wowed by the facilities on ground. They have all the capacity to generate, to transmit as much as they can. So we wonder why, despite their capacity, we are not having the power in our homes, but then we're told that theirs is not to distribute. So that's a story for another day. Then from Dawaki we stopped over at Lugbe Hybrid Station. Lugbe Hybrid Station is a combination of the gas insulated substation and an air insulated substation. And just like the Dawaki substation, the facilities are well, although it's still in the process, but what we saw on ground was a marvel. It was a marvel to behold. We have a lot of facilities on ground. Work is still ongoing, actually. We saw the panels, the transformers, and everything. And the workmen on site, they are doing so much. And right now, we are at Lokogoma Wumba substation, and it's an AIS substation, as we have been told, or as we have learned in the course of this our inspection. So from my observation, I think that the TCN is doing a yeoman's job, actually. They are doing so much that Nigerians are now aware. We blame everybody for power failure. Of course we have to, because when we don't have power in our homes, we have to blame somebody. But having come this far, I know that TCN is doing their part. So we have to call on the other stakeholders to bring the other part of it to the table so that we can have lights in our homes. So far so good. My colleagues told me that for today, we are going to wrap up today and continue the second phase of inspection, where we are going to visit the other substations. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I give TCN a 9 over 10. It's been a great one.
The power circuit continues shortly.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, transmits bulk electricity from power generating companies, GenCos, distribution load centers of distribution companies, DISCOs, nationwide. At TCN, we transport bulk electricity at very high voltage to DISCOs, who now off-take it and distributes it directly to electricity customers nationwide. TCN does not generate electricity. We transport the quantum of power generated to distribution load centers. TCN does not distribute electricity directly to electricity consumers. Our job stops where that of the DISCOs begin. TCN consists of 2 distinct business units: the Transmission Service Provider, TSP, and Independent System Operation, ISO. ISO comprises System Operation, SO, and Market Operation, MO. Each business unit performs specialized functions under the TCN umbrella. TCN, transmitting bulk electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
A team from the Benin Electricity Utility Company, SBP, of Benin Republic has paid a courtesy visit to the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, along with officials of Transcorp Power, a power generation company in Nigeria. The objective of this meeting was to further discuss areas of collaboration for bulk power transmission to the utility firm.
Addressing the TCN officials, the Managing Director of the Transcorp Power, Engineer Christopher Ezafulukwe, said the meeting was to seek avenues for collaboration with TCN for the power generation company at the instance of SBPE, a power utility company in Benin Republic, an international customer for the Nigerian electricity market.
We first want to start by appreciating your accommodating this request for the meeting and also hosting us appropriately, at the time that we also requested. Thank you very much. The request for this meeting originated from our international customer, Republic of Benin, represented by SBPE. They requested for a meeting with TCN and also NCC, if possible, so that we can all put heads together and see how we are going to resolve the challenges. So that is what culminated into this request, and as responsible counterparties to a contract, we had to reach out to you. Again, I refer to the appreciation I started with.
In his remarks, the Managing Director of SBPE, Mr. Emerick Takondaba, noted that the company is in charge of power utility in Benin Republic and buys electricity from Nigeria through Transcorp Power.
The order to us is to find a solution before coming back to Cotonou. I am in Abuja since yesterday, talking with Transcorp. We have a big challenge. Big challenge, why? Because our country have a very long relationship with Nigeria in power supply. Former time is a B2B relation between governments, but I think since 2013, I think, government of Nigeria privatized the power production sector, and then Benin company have to deal directly with the private sector in Nigeria.
Welcoming the team to the TCN headquarters, the Executive Director, Transmission Service Provider, Engineer Oluwagbenga Ajiboye, on behalf of the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, reiterated the commitment of the company to delivering optimal grid management services.
You are welcome. On behalf of the MDC of TCN, you are welcome to this building. We received your invite for the meeting, so we are all here to listen to you and discuss whatever issue you are going to raise about the subject topic. Thank you.
Responding, the Executive Director, Independent System Operation at TCN, Engineer Nafisat Ali, stated that TCN works according to daily energy nominations from the power generation companies on the national grid through the National Control Center, Osogbo in Osun State.
Let's have a recap. The Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, says government is delivering on infrastructure as Jeba gets 63 MVA mobile substation. CSOs tour TCN facilities and projects in FCT, rate company high in asset delivery. You also heard that officials of power utility firms from Benin Republic and Transcorp Power visited TCN. The management of TCN has made this edition and the previous one available for your viewing delight on the TCN YouTube channel. There are more avenues to interact with TCN. On Facebook, you can like the page Transmission Company of Nigeria. TCN is on X, formerly Twitter, via @TCN_Nigeria. And on Instagram, search and click TCN_Nigeria. The TCN Public Affairs team looks forward to having your comments and observations by email to affairs.public@tcn.org.ng. TCN also has an interactive website, www.tcn.org.ng, where you can get more information about its activities. TCN desires to keep you informed through its news-only website, www.tcnnews.ng. We implore you to always stand your guard against the vandalism of power transmission lines, towers and substations in your locality. Also, do not encroach on transmission lines right of way and do not support this in any form. I am Amara Agugoisi. Let's meet again next week.